Erin, welcome so much on the Success with Soul podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, Erin Davis is one of our Incubator clients, and I personally have had the opportunity to do an astrology reading for you. So I'm really excited to have you on. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited.
Yay. So, Erin, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, your entrepreneurial journey. How did you get here?
Well, I would say my entrepreneurial journey began as more of a forced situation. A long time ago, I worked as an employee for a company, and I got married. We became pregnant, and um, just before getting pregnant, they allowed me to work in a remote situation. And so I was living a couple hours away from the main office. And this is back long before these things were much more normal. I don't even believe Zoom existed back then. If it did, we certainly didn't know about it. And so then when we got pregnant, I wasn't able to travel as much. And so shortly after having my first child, we moved into, let's say, a consultancy type arrangement for work. And it actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise, although it was very scary at first. I thought I was losing my job. And what ended up happening is I started having other organizations similar to the one I was working for reaching out to me. And so I kind of somewhat stumbled into being a marketing and branding consultant for other organizations similar to the nonprofit I was working for. Which then, over years of having, more children and, life evolving, I wasn't out there as much. I wasn't, all my business was coming word of mouth. And by being out kind of in the marketplace, if you will, I gained more clients. And as I wasn't out in the marketplace, working with clients, I wasn't seeing as many people. So I wasn't getting as many clients. So I started to just take any clients that came. I was wearing lots of hats and doing lots of different things that either I wasn't probably best suited for, or just I really hated doing those tasks or those sorts of things. And so I kind of reached burnout, and not kind of, I definitely reached burnout. And while the business was successful from maybe a monetary standpoint, it was not successful from a sustainability standpoint. I've been following Kate for years, just on her kind of holistic blog, looking at, just life and how do you do this better and eat better and this sort of thing. And then the incubator came up, and I thought, this is what I need to pivot. And it's brought me to where I am today. I'm 7-8 months into the incubator, and I still am doing let's call it my day job. But now I have translated and pivoted, enhanced my business to serve specifically women in business who need to live more authentically into their business. So I do branding and marketing coaching for women business owners who want to do it more sustainably.
I love that. And I like that you've actually used the word quite a bit in the few minutes that you've been speaking, and that's sustainably. So that's obviously very important to you, and it perfectly aligns with what the incubator is all about. So I'm wondering, like, was that your main reason for joining the incubator? You were looking to, have this business, but how can it be a sustainable business?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I was hopeful that I was open, I should say, to what was I going to learn. I had something that was quote unquote working by maybe outside measures or criteria. So I knew that I could at least do that better, but I was open to how I would grow and what I might learn in the incubator, and just see where that took me. and I really leaned into the coaching and the modules, the training, to just kind of see where I was going to go. And from day one to day now, 7 or 8 months later, um, I I really couldn't have imagined that this is where it would be. And I think that's what I would call maybe the magic inside the incubator, is that it certainly has a path, and there's certainly direction and um, direct systems and strategies and tools and techniques and technology, except it's kind of held in this container of openness and, freedom of expression and freedom to figure out what's your best way to implement and take all of these tools and expertise and guidance and coaching. How do you make that your own? And that is, I feel like I'm kind of this like living testimony, this living, coming out of my time in the incubator, you're just really thriving, just blossoming with all of that stuff, getting to find my own way.
I love that you said that. Just last week, I interviewed Molly Cahill, who was also in the incubator, and she said
Love
something.
her.
Me too. She said something very similar along the lines of what you just said, which is the incubator has a structure, a format, and yet within that structure and that container, there is room to really make it your own. And it's not a one size fit all. It's really, how can it work for you? So I love that you're saying that again. I'm wondering, is there something that you were resisting at first when you first came on to the incubator, and then that ended up, making the biggest difference, or, you really shifting your mindset around that thing that you could have resisted at the beginning?
I don't know if I can pinpoint one thing I was resisting, because I think I kind of was resisting everything. Coming into the incubator, surprisingly, I made the leap because my husband was so supportive of, taking such a big step. And I think I had support on that end. And then when I walked into the incubator, I don't know, there was a lot of permission. There was a permission to go ahead and feel and what I was feeling, to be as confused as I was, to have all of these existing limiting beliefs that were there. And it was like there was permission to be okay. Like I'm still okay. I still can do this. I can kind of parallel track, have all that stuff, and keep moving forward. And so the resistance was a little bit everything. And I feel like there was just a lot of support to get the support, accept it, and take one thing at a time, to go at my own pace. So I think I was resistant to everything, Indira. I was kind of like, I need this to work, because this place I'm in isn't happy and it isn't working and it's not sustainable. I can definitely keep doing it because I've been doing it a long time, but I don't really know if this is going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and listen. And that was really the only thing I wasn't resistant to, was like listening and being open, but really having no clear next step.
I love that. I love that. So what's been the biggest risk that you've taken, or the biggest challenge that you've overcome in your business up to this point?
Probably entering the incubator was the biggest. I don't know if it was the biggest risk. It was probably the first biggest move. The second biggest risk was, I think, taking the perfection out of everything I was doing. it's almost like perfection is this little demon that gets in there and says what you have isn't good enough, even though perfection, it doesn't even really have a place or an end point. And so allowing myself and really kind of leaning on the permission of the group and you all as coaches, to let go of that perfection, that imperfect action moving forward is, it's got me, just one little imperfect action after the other has gotten me where I am today, bringing in clients and my new website and email marketing and moving on to building my course. And it just, these small little actions, imperfect kind of sounds like everyone's like, that's not perfect, or just imperfect is bad. And it's not. If you could just embrace imperfect, it's just been amazing to go, okay, I'm going to take the risk of accepting imperfect. And it's just been incredible.
I like to say perfectly imperfect action.
That's perfect.
So
to overuse it.
yeah. And I know Kate says that all the time. And at the end of the day, it's really about just taking consistent action every single day. It's that consistent action. So
and that's probably one of my favorite incubator things, is that there's a structure to keep showing up, to keep taking action. And I think previous to joining, I had gotten into a place where I was very control oriented. I only did what I could control, but it was self-sabotaging and I didn't really realize it. And so I wouldn't accept support. I really wasn't thinking out of my own box because I couldn't control that, or I was worried that I couldn't control it. And the incubator just really created a way for me to keep taking action forward, even if I wasn't comfortable and when I was comfortable. So that part of it is just, again, just tremendous.
Yeah, I love that. So what would you say has been the biggest impact inside your business since joining the incubator? And, it could be literally in your business revenue, what you've created, or even like how your business has changed, since you've been in the incubator, in terms of like it's now feeling sustainable.
Definitely like streamlining and honing in what exactly is that I'm offering and doing, versus maybe it encompassing more than what I want, what I love, what my zone of genius is, and what is sustainable. So I've really been able to shed like all the stuff to hone in on what I'm really good at, what I feel like my calling is, and what I can really offer in partnership with my clients to help them achieve something similar. And that has probably been the biggest change, is honing in, narrowing down. So when I'm taking that imperfect action, it's kind of all heading in the same direction.
And what is that for you? I'm curious. You said, I know you do branding, but what is it that is your zone of genius?
Helping women take the ideas and concepts about their business and this kind of like building calling inside of themselves and putting words to it and helping them articulate that, define that, write it down in my own kind of branded structure that they can use to kind of launch and put that into messaging and marketing that feels in alignment, that's sustainable, and is, tied to who they are as a person, so that it's authentic, which to me is sustainable. Because if it's not, it's eventually going to get to a place where it just kind of, you burn out, it burns out. It's just not sustainable.
Yeah.
So my 90-day coaching program is kind of that container my clients in a way that, they can build it, instill it into their business, and then launch.
So Erin, we had a moment where I lost you a little bit, and I want to make sure that our listeners get that. And so you were talking about what your 90-day coaching program has.
Okay, sorry. So my 90-day coaching program is where I help women build the foundations of their brand, which is far beyond just, your colors and your fonts and your messaging. It's the whole picture and the whole story. It's a whole foundation so that you can build your marketing plan and launch from there. So it's a 90-day container. And then you get all that stuff in place, and then you can kind of launch.
I love it. I love it. So you've been in the incubator, you mentioned now 7 months, and I'm curious, what are like the top 3 things that you would tell someone that is thinking about joining the incubator? Maybe they have already applied for the incubator. Like, what is that advice that you would give that person that is just like, I don't know?
Coaching, community, tools. The coaching is specific, and it's specific to you, and then it's specific to the other people. And then you don't even realize, like, oh, that actually, I needed to hear that too. The community, the women that I'm either, working in a small group with, or we're connecting with outside, amazing. We're sharing each other out there in the world, even our own businesses, and we're just kind of lifting each other up. And then the tools, like from a tech perspective, as well as just kind of structural, all of that. It's kind of the trifecta. I feel like you get it all.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Erin, is there something that you wish I would have asked that I have not asked?
I don't think so. I hope that, that any other woman business owner out there that's either dreaming of a business or is ready to pivot or enhance what they're already doing, would hear some inspiration in my story, because that's really where I was at. I was kind of both of those things. I was both having a business that maybe could pivot or expand, and I was also dreaming of something, and it wasn't really kind of dialed in yet. I've been successful at both, because I'm doing my regular business that's kind of already, existing and growing. It's now flourishing more. So I don't know. That's just an extra comment, but no, I think you've asked me everything.
I love that. I do have one more question, and that is, if you could use one word, just one, to describe your experience inside of the incubator, what would that one word be?
Grow.
Grow. Love it. Love
Not even growth, but grow. Like it's
grow.
all growing, maybe growing,
Growing.
growing every part, my mind, my heart, my soul, physically, it's just all of it. Business. Yeah.
Growing. I love, that's actually my favorite question. And I'm always like, what are they going to say? And it's always so good.
Good.
Okay, Erin, we have come to the lightning round, and these are just 5 questions I'm going to ask. Don't overthink it. What's your favorite way to make time for self-care while running your own business?
Oh, self-care. I have an evening ritual. I have 4 kids, 2 of which are still at home. The days are really busy. And I can't always make time. I do Pilates classes. That is one kind of routine activity, but my evening ritual is, I really don't ever waver from that, even if it's really late. I have an evening shower, and I have, just kind of like a face routine, and I talk to myself in a certain way, and it washes off the day and all the thoughts and resets. And I don't know, maybe that seems simple, but it is really vital. And I'm very committed to, no matter where I'm at, no matter how late it is, or I always have my nightly routine.
I love it. What is one tool or strategy that you use to help with time management?
Time blocking. I can be a serial multitasker, and kind of go, oh, this and that. Oh, I need to do this. And so I time block multitasking in for me, because sometimes it just like, that is where I'm at. Like, I have all this energy, and I just let myself have that. And giving myself permission to do that has really been great. But then I also have, now I'm working with this client, or now I'm working with this task, and I block that time out. And I give myself extra time in that time block, because I notoriously like make the block too small. And then I feel bad because I didn't like hit it, right? So time blocking for sure is a huge, huge part of my time management.
Yeah. Yes. What's the most powerful business or mindset entrepreneurial book that you've ever read?
Most recently, because it's still kind of in my mind and just really hit me, was We Should All Be Millionaires.
By Rachel Rogers?
Yes, I loved her tone. I loved her. She was both deep and, kind of fun, and also like, come on, like, you got this, like, we can do this. And so that book really resonated with me. And it also, again, I must be really big on permission for some reason. She gave me a lot of permission to think of myself as someone who should be and can be and has every right to be a millionaire.
Yeah. I love that book. I love Rachel Rogers, and I love that she also does thought work inside of that book as
very
well.
much. Yeah. It's a little bit of a holistic, but real approach to business. So
yeah. And we should all be millionaires.
Yeah. Right. There's enough money out there for all of us, sisters.
So what's your favorite quote or mantra or affirmation when things get tough and you feel like, I'm going to give up?
That happens a lot still. And I have several, depending on kind of like where I'm at in that, like the spectrum of giving up. I love, Kate has always said from the beginning, I took it as action stops fear. I feel like somebody else on the podcast said it a different way, but action stops fear has been huge for me. Just take another little step. Just take another little step. She also says, I have all the time I need, and everything that needs to get done will get done. And I love that. One of my favorite stories actually in the Bible is about Esther. And in that story, she is in a tremendous position, and she's struggling a little bit with, oh my gosh, like, how the hell am I going to do this? And she gets some advisement from someone close to her, and it's basically like, some stuff, but you're made for this. You were made for such a time as this. And I remind myself of that all the time. I am here for a reason, and I was made for this.
I actually kind of love that you brought up the story of Esther, because I'm Jewish. And so we tell the story of Esther every single year during Purim.
Yay. Love that.
Yeah, she saved the Jewish people, right?
Yes, she did. And it's from such an unlikely place she came from to that position. And I just think it's so hopeful and so meant for all of us to hear. And so,
love it.
Love her.
And so you're on the Success with Soul podcast. So my last question is, what does success with soul mean to you, Erin?
Success with soul to me means really doing life and business the same, showing up as my whole self in both places. I don't really believe in life-work balance in maybe the more common context of it. But being authentic in both places makes it sustainable for me. And that is success, that I can show up as in both places as me.
Oh, I love that.
Thank
Erin, thank you
you.
so much for being on the podcast today. Please let our listeners know where they can find you.
Find me at matchboxwomen.com. And then I also spend a little bit of time, not a lot, on Facebook and Instagram at Matchbox Women. And please come sign up for my email. I will talk to you every week. And I love it there. I love it there. So join me.
Yay. Awesome. Thank you again for joining us on the podcast, Erin. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me here.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.